Imagine a world where China quietly and methodically unlocks the secrets of the most advanced chip technology on Earth, mastering semiconductor manufacturing without the rest of the world even realizing it. A world where they surge ahead in the technology race, surpassing Western dominance with an effort so seamless that it catches everyone off guard. It might sound like a distant possibility, but this scenario is unfolding right now. The tech giant that has been battered by sanctions for years has now confirmed that they are secretly testing an advanced chip-making machine, one that could alter the semiconductor industry forever. What does this mean for the future of technology? How did they manage to reach this point despite years of pressure and trade restrictions? This revelation could shift the global balance of power in the tech sector, and the implications are nothing short of groundbreaking. Semiconductors are the foundation of modern life. They power the smartphones in our hands, the cars we drive, the artificial intelligence systems we interact with daily, and even the supercomputers running the world's most advanced calculation. These tiny chips are at the heart of everything from consumer electronics to national security infrastructure. For decades, the West, particularly the United States, Europe, and certain Asian countries, has maintained dominance in semiconductor manufacturing. Companies such as TSMC and Intel have led the charge, creating the world's most sophisticated processors. At the core of this technological leadership is extreme ultraviolet EUV lithography, a revolutionary chip-making process that allows manufacturers to produce semiconductors as small as 5 nanometers, and now even 3 nanometers. The smaller the chip, the more powerful and efficient it becomes. With EUV, manufacturers can etch intricate circuits onto silicon wafers at an atomic level, making devices more advanced than ever before. But here's the problem. China has been locked out of this technology. In 2020, the US imposed sanctions that directly targeted Chinese tech firms, especially Huawei and SMIC, China's top chip manufacturer. These sanctions blocked access to EUV machines, which are produced exclusively by ASML, a Dutch company that holds a monopoly over this technology. Under immense political pressure, ASML was prohibited from selling its most advanced machines to China. The goal of these sanctions was clear to prevent China from advancing its semiconductor industry, ensuring that the West retained its technological edge for at least another decade. Many experts predicted that China would struggle to catch up. Without access to EUV, analysts believed it would take China 10 to 15 years to develop its own alternative. The prevailing thought was that without these critical machines, China would fall behind, unable to manufacture the smallest and most powerful chips necessary for AI, quantum computing, and next-generation smartphones. But China wasn't willing to wait. Instead of sitting back and accepting these restrictions, they began working in secret to develop their own alternative. And now, in early 2025, the world is waking up to a stunning reality. Huawei has confirmed that it is testing a domestically developed EUV machine at its Dongguan facility in China. This is not a rumor. Trusted sources like DigiTimes and Tech PowerUp have verified the news. The company is preparing for trial production in the third quarter of 2025, with full-scale manufacturing expected by 2026. If successful, this move could shatter the West's monopoly on advanced chip-making technology, marking one of the most significant shifts in the global tech industry in decades. This development is more than just a major technological milestone. It represents a turning point in global power dynamics. The ability to manufacture advanced chips domestically would free China from its reliance on Western technology, undermining the very sanctions that were designed to cripple its semiconductor industry. But how did Huawei manage to pull this off? To understand this, we need to revisit Huawei's history. In 2019, Huawei was at the peak of its success, dominating the global smartphone market and emerging as a leader in 5G technology. But then, the US government labeled the company a national security threat and imposed a series of crippling sanctions. These sanctions effectively cut Huawei off from critical technologies, including advanced semiconductors and software. The loss of access to ASML's EUV machines was especially devastating. Without them, SMIC, Huawei's key chip supplier, was forced to rely on older, deep ultraviolet DUV lithography, which could only produce chips as small as 7 nanometers. Meanwhile, Western companies were already moving toward 3-nanometer chips and beyond. At that moment, China's ambitions in the semiconductor industry seemed doomed. But rather than admitting defeat, Huawei and China doubled down on innovation. Instead of waiting for sanctions to be lifted, they poured billions of dollars into research and development, determined to create their own EUV ecosystem from scratch. They weren't just trying to survive, they were preparing to break through the technological barriers that had been imposed on them. So, what exactly is powering China's secret 3-nanometer breakthrough? Enter laser-induced discharge plasma, LDP. This new approach to EUV lithography is a groundbreaking alternative to ASML's laser-produced plasma, LPP technology. Here's how it works. While ASML's LPP system vaporizes tin using a high-powered laser to generate EUV light, the LDP system takes a different approach. It vaporizes tin between two electrodes and then zaps it with a high-voltage discharge, creating plasma that emits EUV light at the crucial 13.5-nanometer wavelength. This new method has several key advantages. It is simpler, more compact, and significantly cheaper than ASML's $350 million EUV machines. In fact, reports from Huawei Central and WCCF Tech indicate that Huawei's LDP-based EUV system is already being tested at their Dongguan facility. If this technology proves successful, it could disrupt the entire semiconductor industry, forcing ASML to reconsider its monopolistic hold on EUV technology. Huawei isn't doing this alone. SMIC, China's largest semiconductor foundry, is also deeply involved in the effort. Together, they are not just trying to catch up, they are aiming to surpass the West in chip manufacturing. In January 2025, the South China Morning Post reported a breakthrough from a research team in Harbin working on EUV light source technology, which also targets the critical 13.5-nanometer wavelength. The fact that multiple teams across China are working on this technology suggests a coordinated national effort to accelerate the development of homegrown EUV systems. If successful, China could leap from 7-nanometer chip production to 3 nanometers within a matter of years. And why is 3-nanometer technology so important? Smaller chips translate to greater processing power, lower energy consumption, and improved efficiency. A 3-nanometer chip would enable revolutionary advancements in AI, smartphones, autonomous vehicles, and even quantum computing. Imagine an AI-powered smartphone that doesn't need to rely on cloud computing to process advanced machine learning models. Imagine a self-driving car that makes near-instantaneous decisions with zero errors. This is the kind of transformation that 3-nanometer technology could bring. For years, the West has been the undisputed leader in 3-nanometer chip production. Companies like TSMC are already manufacturing these chips for major tech giants, while Intel is betting on them to regain lost market share. But if China successfully develops its own 3-nanometer chips, it won't just be competing, it will be rewriting the rules of the game. If Huawei and SMIC succeed, the global semiconductor landscape will never be the same. ASML's monopoly on EUV technology will be at serious risk. For years, ASML has been the sole provider of high-end EUV machines, supplying them to TSMC, Intel, and other major manufacturers. But if Huawei's more affordable, homegrown EUV system becomes viable, it could flood the market, undercutting ASML's $350 million machines and making EUV technology more accessible to other manufacturers. This shift would have enormous consequences for the Western tech industry. Chip giants aren't panicking just yet, but they are watching closely. If China scales up production in 2026, the balance of power in semiconductor manufacturing could change forever.